Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at some of my favorite common and affordable houseplants. I think a lot of times I get caught up on my rare plants because I love them, and I forget about the common ones that are great in my house. And I think there's a lot of people on my channel that are still into common plants, and that's totally okay. And so this video is for you. Most of these plants are plants that you can find at like big box stores. So they're great for beginners, and all of these have pretty easy care. These are all plants that I just have around my house, more as like decor. So let's just get into it. The first one is my Hoya Crimson Queen. And this is one of the easiest going Hoya, and it's also, you can find this Hoya almost anywhere now, and I think that's so cool. Look at these all white leaves. Anyway, I recommend this Hoya for anyone that is wanting to get into Hoya. And I just noticed there's a clover growing in there. That's nice. Anyway, I always recommend this Hoya for people who are wanting to get into Hoya. I think it's so easy and so pretty. Like, the variegation on these leaves is just like it would be on any expensive plant. So I think this one is a really good option if you are trying to get into Hoya. Or even if you just want a big Hoya, because you can find these for really cheap and they're pretty big. The next one is my Marble Queen Pothos. I think most Pothos in general are good beginner plants because they're so easygoing. And like the Marble Queen, if you give them high light, they get this like really white colored leaves. They actually call this a snow queen when it gets really white like that. But this, or also like a, why do I always forget the name of this? Golden Pothos. They're really easy too. So any kind of Pothos I think are really great, and they grow super fast. So if you're wanting to like fill a big spot in your house or have one like hanging down, this is a really good option because they grow super fast. This one is a Harrington Philodendron. And honestly, I would recommend any kind of trailing philodendron for beginners, or if you're looking for a cheaper plant, so like the lemon lime or the Brazil. This one is honestly one of my favorites, and it just hangs in the wall, hangs on my wall in my kitchen, and I love it. This is one of the easiest plants I have in my entire house. I could not water this thing for weeks and it would be fine. So I think this is a great option. And when the new leaves come in, they're like super dark colored. So they're really pretty. I've always loved trailing philodendron. I don't really think of them as philodendron. When I think philodendron in my head, I think of like upright philodendron. But a great option if you're looking for a big trailing houseplant. Next is an Adansonii. And this is the wide form, but there's also a narrow form. And I think looking at this, you would think that it was an expensive plant. Like, the holes on the leaves I think are so unique, and this plant can get huge. I have the narrow form on top of my Hoya cabinet, and it is just like trailing everywhere. Super easy. You can find these at almost any big box store, so like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart. And they're so unique. Like, not many plants have holes like this. And I just think this is such a cool one. The next one I really debated about putting in this video because although they're super easy, I don't know if they're common in everyone's area. Also, I tried to choose plants that I thought would be available in everyone's area, because I know plants can differ and prices can differ in different areas. And while I'm located in Missouri, I know a lot of you guys are in different states. So I think all of these are common in your area. If they're not, let me know in the comments, and I would love to know if maybe these are harder to find for you. But the next one might not be easy to find everywhere. I feel like about a year ago, this plant was considered more rare and harder to find. But now, in my area at least, they're super easy to find. I don't think you can find them at big box stores, but almost every nursery in my area carries these. But it is one of my all-time favorite plants. That is my Scindapsus pictus, Exotica. And this plant is just so pretty. The pattern on the leaves is so unique, and it stands out with a bunch of other plants next to it. But this one was hard to find not that long ago. But I think it's easy to care for and definitely more affordable now. I would say if you're wanting to get into more uncommon plants, this might be a good start. These aren't like the most common, but I feel like it's a good start to get into rare plants. But one of my favorites, I will say these do grow kind of slow. So if you're wanting a fast grower, this one probably isn't it. But these are super pretty and they will stand out in your house for sure. The next one is my good old snake plant. And I would recommend this plant to anyone because I feel like no one can kill a snake plant. Except I take that back because when I lived in my apartment, I neglected this thing super, super bad. Like I gave it absolutely no light and it got root rot and I had to completely re-root it. And I just thought to myself, wow, I have all of these uncommon plants and I almost kill a snake plant. But anyway, if you give these the right conditions, they will thrive on their own. And they're really unique also. There's so many different varieties. I'm really not even sure what this one is, but there's a lot of different kinds of snake plants. And you can buy these really cheap for really big. So like if you're wanting to fill like a corner in your house, this is a really good option. I would treat this more of like a succulent if you have one or if you want to get one. They don't require a lot of water and they like pretty high light. I think a common misconception is that snake plants like low light. And while they might not die in low light, they're not gonna grow. And so I recommend putting these in high light if you can do that. Okay, so the next couple ones are too big. So I am going to show you guys them where they're at right now. Okay, so I lied and this is the last one, but this is my Monstera deliciosa. And I love this plant a lot. I've had it for quite a while and the leaves have gotten huge. But if you like big plants or have a big area like this in a corner, I highly recommend these. They're so easy and you can find them a lot of places. So they're very available. Look at these aerial roots. They're like growing all the way into the ground. But anyway, a good option if you're looking for a more common and affordable big plant. Okay, so those are the plants I recommend for beginners or just some common and affordable houseplants. So I hope you enjoyed seeing which ones I think are common and affordable and which ones are common and affordable in my area. Let me know in the comments your favorite common plants and why you like them. Also, if these are not common in your area, I would love to know that and hear maybe what plants are common in your area. I hope you learned something from this, and if not, just enjoyed seeing my favorite common plants. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.